Okay, so we are back to do the assignment walkthrough. So remember, before you even ever start your trial presentation database in Trial Director or any other trial presentation tool of choice, you want to um, have a good case organization. So I like to create a folder at the root called cases. And then for this class, I have my example case. And what I try to do is I segment or organize everything by the type of application it comes from. And it's a little mixed up because, PowerPoints will go in the PowerPoint folder. Standalone video would be video clips that aren't attached to a transcript. Transcripts contain transcripts and transcripts with synchronized video. Trial director is where I'm going to put the trial director file itself. And exhibits are the images that I have prepared for import from our trial exhibit database, remember, like relativity or concordance, into our trial presentation database. For this case, what I've done is I just copied from the sample data folder, the docs folder. Remember that sample data docs? I just copied this over to my sample data folder. From sample data over to cases. And remember, I think I talked about this in an earlier module. I like to create a addendum folder so that for every single day that I'm at trial, that I can, when I load new exhibits, that they're organized by the date that they were added. So it might only be 2 or 3, but I know what day it came in, and it's a great process because you're not constantly rebuilding and reorganizing everything from scratch. And this allows you to find exhibits really quickly. So that's the way I do it. But do the organizational system that works for you and would allow someone to take over in case you, win the lottery or fall asleep or do whatever that you don't show up in court. So we're going to go to File, Create a New Case. I'm going to browse to a location. And remember, I created something in C, Cases, Example Case, Trial Director. And I'm going to call this Example UCLA. I don't like to put spaces or anything like that in my file names in general for anything from exhibits to anything that I create. If I have a space, I use an underscore. I'm not worried about the matter number or the notes here. Enable case access security. I would never ever use that feature. And then create. The case access security puts a layer of encryption on your database, which I think there's other tools out there that would do a better job of it. So if you need to use that encryption, then it's a completely different testing and routine that you have to do to work with that. And we're not going to cover that in this class, but encryption and security is very important. So let's go back to our exhibits. And here's all the images. Let's pretend that these are all standalone, that they're all standalone exhibits on themselves instead of one document. And I'm just going to copy and drag them over to documents. And this dialog box will come up. And do we want to create a new document for each file added? Yes. Name items using the file name. So the file name, it was pretty good, but there's some options here. I told you before that I don't really like how these files are named, and I'd probably do some things if this was an actual trial to make the names shorter and faster for me to input. I hit OK. And let's check this out. So all these exhibits have come in. We're just going to call them exhibits, right? Every one is a single page, so but again, we're just playing for right now. And so the first thing I do after I do a import of exhibits is I come up here to my tools and I do reconnect missing files. Everything's there. The next thing I do is I go to Tools, Global Path Editor, and I don't remember if I told you or not, but I don't like when these brackets show up. So I'd rather it be a hard path, like C:/. And what that's doing is it's replacing this bracketed section here with C:/. You know, if you're importing a lot of stuff, this can get kind of messy up here because you might have lots of different paths. Every one of those addendum folders will show up here, and you want to make sure that you're working with something that's going to just be consistent and work. Volumes. Now, a piece of advice I got was to erase any volume information that's in the existing paths. Volumes are kind of a holdover term where we would get data deliverables from vendors, and they would name each CD or each deliverable, give it a name like Vol1, Vol2, Volume 3, Volume 4, for each CD that they delivered or data packet that they delivered. And I don't find it very helpful here. So if you just erase the bottom, so you have the target and the source, it erases the existing volume information. So path looks good, volume looks good. I'm going to test again here, reconnect missing files. Everything's there. Now, that is a feature I use as much as possible because I want to make sure everything's there, and I want to make sure everything is going to show up when I input these numbers on the screen. Let me quickly change, and we'll get into some of these other options. Oops, sorry. View presentation mode, and these are some presentation mode options that we're going to go through. Oops, sorry. Presentation preferences, I should have hit that, sorry. We're going to do the mirror mode because probably most of you are using mirror mode to do your presentations in. And so this is where you would set it. And I'm sorry if that was confusing. View presentation preferences. And there's some other preferences that you can set up in here as well. There's different themes you can set up behind your documents. And I'll tell you, just go with the black screen or some other colored back screen, something simple. You don't want to be overly Star Wars with the background on your whatever you're using. So let's just keep it simple. I don't usually change any of the default settings here. This is for size of the toolbar buttons. I don't change anything here. I do my transfer speeds as fast as possible. So zone transitions, what this is talking about is how fast to transfer from one corner to the other corner. Fade speed is how fast is the document going to come up or get taken down, you know, because there's different artistic ways of bringing in the document. Zone, I stick with the default here, replace zone. Zone placement 9, this is the full screen. You also get to it by F9. You could have it come up in any one of the different zones that come with Trial Director. Just keep it default for right now. Let's go through the Exhibits tab here. I like the multi-page view because it allows me to scroll. Otherwise, you need to do page up, page down in the single page view. Video transcripts, again, I keep everything pretty default here as we go. There's nothing here that's sticking out at me that makes me think that we need to change anything here. Yeah, so we're pretty good. Okay, so now we're going to hit presentation, and the screen's going to switch over to presentation mode. Note your exhibit names. Ours are demo and 5 digits. So presentation in the upper middle portion of the screen. There we go. So again, when I put in, look in the lower right hand corner, demo 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 5 digits, up comes the exhibit. And what I want you to be able to do, let's get one other thing out here on the screen. This is going to help you out a little bit, because I want you to take a screenshot. What we're going to do is take screenshot button and drag it over here to your toolbar. So again, I got there by, oops, it's a tool. Find it here, drag it over here. We're only gonna work with a limited set of tools here. There are lots of tools, but again, 99% of the time you're merely calling something out, a call out, right? Or highlighting it. And we want our highlights to be accurate. This is sloppy right here for me. Bad me. See right here, it's too much. But when you're in the hot seat and you do small mistakes like that, it's not worth it to go back and fix it. You just live with it. So should have done it like this. Close and tight in with the text. So what I want you to do is do something like that. I don't care what document you do it to, and then take a screen capture of it by pressing this button right here. And that's this week's assignment. Put an exhibit in the database, call it up on screen, do a call out of some portion of the text, highlight a portion of the text, and then do a screenshot. And that's it. Escape to hit the escape button to clear the screen, but I'm going to do a couple more. I like using the mouse. Some people use the keyboard shortcuts. You can find the keyboard shortcuts in the help menu of Trial Director. I personally use just the mouse and selecting the tool. And I use a different technique with extended screen where you can detach the toolbar. And I'll show you that in a subsequent class so that you can see what I'm working with. But in the beginning, just work in mirror mode. Get to know how the things work. Let's see. Hit escape to exit out. Let's go. Here's our screenshot that I took. So if you go back to your Workbooks Explorer in the case library, you'll see a screen called Snapshots. And there's the snapshot I took. Now, one other quick little point about this. Lots of times we're prepping a lot of this stuff in advance. You're sitting in a conference room with a legal team, and they're literally going through and doing hundreds of these things. So this is a great way to prep. And you go through, you figure out your naming convention, and so for example, mine might be I might change this to demo 01 HL for highlighted. And then I can folder it. It's going to show up here as well somewhere. Refresh the screen. There we go. There's my highlight under the demo 01 folder. Nice, right? Okay. Well, that's trial presentation right there. Again, I can't say it enough. The hard part really is all the preparation, all the QC, getting everything ready, the consulting on exhibit format, on aspect ratio for your presentation, on working with the court staff to make sure everything goes in and out of the courtroom smoothly. Everything else is just this part The hardest part about this part is staying awake during the trial itself, because so many of them are boring and you've worked all night. So and heard this same story 100 times. So um, you know, put your time in the preparation of your case, and this part goes smoothly and easily. Again, if it's not going smoothly or easily for you, give me a call or an email, and I'd be happy to help you out. Thanks a lot, guys. I hope this has been a good lesson, and shoot me an email if you're having any problems. Thanks.